use that opportunity to expand. Looks like he's putting another hatchery down at his 7 o'clock expo. But the problem for Hades is that there's no way he's got enough overlords to cover all of his bases. And Bisu with the Corsairs has limited him. Hades hasn't got any Scourge out as yet, so that Corsair with free reign, another overlord coming under fire, this time at the 7 o'clock position, and Bisu really needs to defend that. A couple of Scourges coming in, and Bisu's going to try and lure those Scourges away. I think Bisu should lure the Scourges away with one Corsair and finish off the overlord with the second. A couple more Scourges coming in. Bisu now coming in with the Zealot as well as the Dragoons. He's going to use that Dragoon, he's going to defend the Dragoon with the Zealots and use the Dragoon to usher the overlord away, since he wasn't able to get the kill with the Corsair and force Hades to defend. Hades has got 3 hatches, so this is the key base. If Bisu can somehow take this down, Hades is going to be in huge trouble, but Hades is probably still not been able to pop any Mutalisk. Hydra's coming out, so that base is going to be well defended. But if Bisu's going to be able to, if Bisu can sneak a couple of DTs into perhaps Hades, and this time the Corsair actually gets taken out by the Scourges. So decent play by Hades. He's fighting back in this game, and he's macroing well. Bisu sending a couple of Zealots in to Hades', and I'm not sure if they're scouting Zealots or if they're just to try and draw those Hydralists away from that expo, because it looks like, and Hades is really pumping out the Hydralists now. He's going all out macro here with those Hydralists, but Hades forced to micro his drones around. We saw how good he was against Best doing that in the previous game, but Bisu's got Zealots all over the place, really macroing hard, really multitasking and forcing Hades on the defensive. Still haven't seen those DTs, so maybe Bisu is just going for High Templar instead. Still haven't seen any DTs from Bisu come down to take advantage of the fact that his Corsairs did get a few overlord kills, and Bisu with keeping those Zealots alive, somehow microing them and running them in circles around the Hydralists. I'm not sure exactly why he's doing that, short of, and that's why he's doing it. He's just been buying himself time to get those DTs in position, and as well as get scouting information from those Zealots to know exactly where his opponent's position, his forces. Hades has got positions, his forces positioned decently. He has got overlords all over the place. He's got Hydralists and overlords just outside his choke, but he doesn't have much in this expansion. He's got Hydralists and Zerglings as well as here, so Bisu's gambit might not pay off as well as he would have hoped to here. Bisu's DT is being chased around. Bisu's managed to lure Hades' forces away by that one man. He's managed to sneak a DT into Hades' main, and I'm not sure if Hades has got an overlord hovering above it. Hades does have speed upgrade overlord though, so he's sending one back, and Bisu's managed to sneak a DT into Hades' base, and it's just a question of how much damage he can do. He's only produced the 2 DTs. Meanwhile, he's macroing up quite heavily. Hades is in a decent position as well. Now, first drone kill, second drone kill, 3 drone kills right next to it, and Hades with poor macro there. He should have brought those drones to his he should have brought those drones to his Hydralists and overlords that were in his main. Meanwhile, Bisu with another DT trying to attack the 7 o'clock base. That DT gets picked off. The one lone DT gets about 3 drone kills. So I think Hades will probably take that exchange. He would probably take the exchange of getting 3 drones kills. But Bisu definitely keeping Hades busy, not allowing him to really put some pressure on Bisu in the meantime. But so far, the game seems to be fairly well battled. Hades has got a decent-sized force on the ground. Bisu now with a High Templar coming in, wiping out the Scourge with the Dragoons. Bisu's got a decent-sized ground force, but Hades has amassed quite a lot of Hydralists and Zerglings. Bisu looks like he's trying to set up an expansion at the 12 o'clock position in the middle of the map. Sorry, at the 3 o'clock position in the middle of the map. Bisu once again with Zealots sending them in towards Hades' base. And Hades is quite impressive. Is impressing me quite a lot there, even though he's made a few minor errors. Bisu, though, doing a great job of sending in those harassing units with Zealots and DTs, just trying to keep his opponent on the back foot. Hades coming in with the massive Zerglings into Bisu's 3 o'clock expo, forcing Bisu to cancel the photon cannons he was putting down for defense. Hades meanwhile getting lurkers up as well. Bisu's built a decent ground force, adopting a slightly defensive posture now, and since he hasn't really been able to inflict too much damage on Hades, game very well balanced right now. Hades has got a good chance to actually come out and an effective victory here against Bisu despite his seemingly slow start. He does seem to be in a decent position against Bisu here. It looks like Hades is going for a massive attack here at Bisu's 3 o'clock expo with lurkers and Zerglings. I'm not sure if Bisu has got observers, but he's waiting for those photon cannons to warp, and Hades is obviously going to try and do his best. I think Hades does manage to cancel one of the photon cannons, and Storm's going off for Bisu, but he hasn't managed to kill any of the lurkers yet, and the lurkers are now powering away at the pylon, and if the pylon goes down, it's going to be critical here. Hydra is coming into play as well. The pylon's gone down, so the photon cannons are going to be ineffective, but Bisu has got an observer. Great storms by Bisu, catching a couple of the lurkers as well as most of the Hydralists in that attack, and Bisu's managed to take out Hades' force, and Hades forced to retreat. So Bisu holds his expansion at the 12 o'clock position, still a decent position. Bisu's in a good position now. Hades also affecting an attack against P2, managing to take the pylon down, managing to take a photon cannon, but not really delivering. So both players trading punches here. Neither has really delivered what I would call a killing blow and debilitated his opponent. Hades, I thought, looked vulnerable when P2 was going for the DTs, but he managed to get his units in place to defend. And now the spread of overlords from Hades, probably just to scout around and see what else P2 is up to around the map. P2 just, in the meanwhile, getting his photon cannons in place to defend his Total Expo. And looks like P2's making a push against Hades. Against Hades' choke, nevertheless. Hades should have really enough units to defend this, but it's going to be, and P2 storming, forcing Hades back. Great storms by P2, canceling the matches of Hades' Hydralisk in the storms, taking out quite a few of his forces, and P2's Dragoons dealing good damage here. Hades is going to be in a little bit of trouble here because he's lost half of his force, he's lost most of his lurkers, he doesn't seem to have a lot to replenish, and P2's just powering ahead. He's gone past the choke and he's pushing for that 3 hatchery base at the 7 o'clock position, and if Hades loses, it's going to be curtains right here, and just out of nowhere, P2's pulled out this attack with some great storms and put Hades under a lot of pressure. He's left a couple of units back to slow Hades' reinforcements, and he's meanwhile laying the hurt down. Those 3 Dragoons are preventing reinforcements coming from Hades' mates, slowing them down. Hades hasn't been able to get reinforcements through. Meanwhile, P2's warping Archons inside Hades' 7 o'clock Expo, and just out of nowhere, P2's just wiping the floor with this Expo. Hades looked to be in a pretty decent position, but that attack against the 3 o'clock Expo seemed to be ill-fated, since P2 managed to kill most of Hades' forces that were involved in that attack, and P2 countered quickly after that, and Hades GG's, and P2, as if to say, this is how you play against Zerg, just decimates his opponent. Comfortable victory for P2 in the end. Hades looked like he was doing okay, but out of nowhere, P2 just turned the skill on and destroyed Hades, taking out that 7 o'clock Expo, and Hades, knowing that once he lost that Expo, he would be in huge trouble. He couldn't recover from that, GG'd out. So P2, 8 for SKT1, levels out the scores, and it's going to be an interesting match coming up next. It stands at 2-2 right now, obviously 4 wins needed to win the matchup. This is Klazart, guys. Thanks for listening.